This here's a 2001 Volkswagen with a 1.8T engine, and the customer complaint is check engine light. Let's scan it and see what's up with it. Okay, let's see what trouble codes we have. Okay, we have a 442 for small leak, EVAP small leak detected, and a 455 for large leak detected. This other trouble code, we can ignore that. And the reason why is because this customer bought some keys from somebody and we cut the keys for them and programmed them to the car. And so we probably induced that trouble code there while we were programming the keys. Okay, so we'll pop the fuel door, take a look at the gas cap. And that, of course, you can just tell by the way it looks, that's an aftermarket cap and it looks brand new. You see the paint on it is just so crisp and nice. That's a brand new cap. I don't really want to like loosen it or tighten it to see if that's a problem, but I'm just gonna, I don't really want to loosen it or tighten it. I just want to see if it is super loose. That doesn't seem to be super loose. So it's real common for the purge valve to fail on these, so we'll do some quick checks at the purge valve. Okay, I'm going to do some quick checks on the purge valve here. And we've got to take these two bolts out in order to get it up here where we can work on it. Don't know what's going on with that, but okay, the purge valve should be sealing except when the computer turns it on. So I'm going to unplug this so that the computer can't turn it on. I'll take this off, and there should be no vacuum because this line right here has a vacuum supply to it. There should be no vacuum coming out of this side. Okay, we have the engine running now with this disconnected, and I'm not feeling any vacuum there. Now, that doesn't mean that this is good. This entirely could be stuck in the closed position. I don't think that would trigger the codes that we have though, but I am going to run the output test to energize this off and on in order to see it working. Of course, for that I will need to plug this back in, and I'll show you the output test that we do on VACCOM. Okay, we're going in to do the output test on the EVAP purge solenoid. Oh, it won't run the output test with the engine running on this one, which is the opposite of the TDIs, so I always forget. I'll go around and shut the car off. Shutting the car off usually makes it stop communicating, so this hourglass is there until it communicates again, which looks like the communication recovered. So we'll try the output test again, and EVAP is the first check. So I'm going to blow in here, and you might be able to hear that. It is clicking. You hear that? Especially with me blowing in it. So that's just a real quick and dirty check to see that the EVAP purge solenoid or EVAP purge valve is not sticking or stuck, and because if it is leaking, it will cause EVAP trouble code. Okay, there is a basic settings test for EVAP system, and it is in group 71, so I'm punching in 71 right there and hit enter, and it starts running it immediately. That should start off saying closed, and then as the test runs it should say open, and it'll give you a result whether it passes or fails. And it will actually, if you cleared the codes, it would trigger a trouble code if it fails the test. I can tell you right now this one's probably going to fail because a good working system passes the test really quickly. If it takes a long time, that usually means it's trying to pump up the system, and it's not pumping up, it's leaking off, so it takes a while to make a fail, but it doesn't take very long to make a pass. So what the leak detection pump is doing is pumping up the charcoal canister in the tank itself to verify the integrity of the system, that there are no leaks, air leaks. I'll probably do a time edit in here. Okay, so it says system not okay and there's a large leak, so that's the end result. Okay, we've pulled the wheel and the fender liner, as you can see, and up in there is the leak detection pump, and we're going to run the basic settings test again and see if we can visually identify any type of leaks of the pressure that the leak detection pump puts into the canister and into the tank, and maybe we can visually see something leaking. I've kind of looked over the hoses and stuff. This hose here ain't in great shape, but it seems to be intact. I do have the laptop hooked to the car and the car running, and I'm going to run the basic settings test again. Okay, the basic settings test is on. And you may be able to hear that. Can't see anything leaking. I can spray some soapy water around here. Hi, come on in. Okay, the test has completed. And you can see there it says the results of the test is large leak and system not okay. By the way, after running that test, I can kind of smell fuel. I think I'm going to grab a torch and see if I can find the leak that way. Just kidding. But I can kind of smell fuel, so I would assume that that pump is pushing the fuel vapors out somewhere. But I couldn't see anything. I'm pretty sure this leak could be in the anywhere up here. This is the canister filter, and this hose goes over to the canister, and then some of those hoses up there put the pressure into the filler neck and expansion chamber, and that allows the tank to be pressurized. So since I'm smelling fuel almost for sure, there is definitely a leak. What I'm going to do is clamp off this hose here, and that'll tell me if the leak detection pump is doing its job, if it passes the basic settings test, and that'll confirm that the leak is in the system beyond those vice grips. So let's go over to the laptop, and I'm going to run the basic settings test one more time. In order to do it again, you have to hit done, go back into basic settings, type in 71. And as you see, it says test on. It's a miserably hot day today. It's actually July 8th. Okay, so right then it just finished and it says system okay right there. So That tells you that the leak is beyond the leak detection pump. The leak detection pump is good, doing its job. So the leak is in the canister or the tank. So I think the next logical test would be to disconnect this hose right here and put a smoke machine there and charge the canister and the tank with smoke. Not sure I'm going to do that. I might, since I'm smelling fuel, I might go underneath the back seat and see if the fuel sending unit gasket is intact, because that's super easy to get to, and pulling those clamps off is a little bit more difficult. So I want to choose the easier job first. We'll show you what we do there. I'm sniffing because I'm trying to tell if it smells like fuel. Be better after I take that off, and then I can tell. I can kind of smell fuel in here. Okay, you can see there in that black sticker says import direct. That is an O'Reilly brand fuel pump. And so I would guess that probably means that the leak is around that gasket. I guess we can run the basic settings test right now and see if any air comes out of there and see if the smell comes out here. Hose don't really, this hose over here on the side doesn't really seem to be where it's supposed to be, but here's another thing, that clip isn't installed all the way. See, a lot of people pull these out in order to get them to disconnect that, and that's not what it's designed to do. You push them in as a button to release them. And so now this might be jacked up. I'll take it apart and see what I find. Okay, I'm removing this clamp. I'm sure you can't see much here, but usually folks break these when they try and remove them by prying them out rather than pushing the button in. I said I was going to run an output test, or the basic settings test, before I did that. I better do that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm spraying it with soapy water, and it is bubbling out right there. This I did engage the basic settings test, so it is pressurizing the tank right now, and I can smell fuel, and it's coming out right here. So pretty confident that either the seal is installed improperly, or maybe that ring. I don't know how much of this is you're hearing, because Cortland's over there blowing with the blow nozzle, but okay, I have the output test running, and as you can see there, when I spray it with soapy water, you can see it bubbling. That is the pressure from the leak detection pump coming out of there. So I'm pretty confident that's going to fix our issue. Okay, in the off chance that none of that was heard because I was so far away from the camera, I want to say it again. We can see the bubbling right there. Not right now because the basic settings test has stopped, but we could see the leak right there as the basic settings test was running. Pretty confident that that's there's a leak around that gasket there from somebody installing the fuel pump. That gasket is a little bit finicky, and you have to know the exact right way to put it in. Okay, I'm going to try and video the removal of this thing, and I've already taken that out, which was improperly installed. And remember, these are push buttons right here. Somebody's jammed the wrong thing in there though. I'm guessing we're going to find a gasket that is pinched or twisted. Or maybe this just wasn't tight enough. That didn't seem very tight. Well, not seeing what I was expecting to see. Okay, I'm trial fitting this. Yikes, dang it. Okay, I'm trial fitting this gasket in here. Don't really like the way this thing fits. Don't feel right or look right. But it seems to fit. Okay, in the interest of trying to get this done today, I'm going to try and reseat this with this using this original gasket. And I'm going to show you my technique for getting this in there and making it right. Now this might have been in there right, and maybe the ring just needed to be tightened more. At this point I can't determine that because I already took it apart. But here's how you do this. You cannot shove the pump through this. You can't leave this here as you shove the pump through. But you also can't put this on the pump and shove it into here. So here's what you got to do. You have to stick this through the hole. Then you have to put this on here like this, because that lower part will not shove through this. And then you have to put this into the pump, which is not easy to do. And seat it in place.
No, it's over here. Yeah, you're good.
Cool Air Auto, this is Richard. Hi. I'm good. Uh-huh. The head for the Beetle is at the machine shop, and probably I'm probably overdue for calling them and checking on the progress, but just simply waiting on them to get that. And we have most of the parts here, and that's the status it's at right now. Just distraction after distraction. See, I get distracted, I get an interruption, and then once I'm interrupted, I get interrupted during that interruption, and then I get interrupted during that interruption, and so it's 20 minutes before I'm back to it. That makes editing videos very hard because sometimes I'll record 20 minutes of nothing. And of course you don't know it's nothing till you watch the 20 minutes to realize, hey, that's just nothing. So you end up with a little bit too much time editing. It's kind of annoying. But that's the life of a YouTube mechanic, huh? Or is a YouTube mechanic somebody who watches these videos? Which is it? Am I a YouTube mechanic, or am I making videos for YouTube mechanics? Which is it? Post that in the comments down below. Really looks like that thing. Okay. At this point, I think I've got it. But that tab right there is rubbing that collar. Give that a smack trying to get it away from that plastic. Probably make my life a little bit easier there. Sure that's in there all the way yet. Trying to gauge the gap there by sticking a scribe in it. And one thing you can do to make sure because the harder you hit these little tabs, the more likely you're going to break one of them off, is what you want to have a helper push this direction on one tab, and you push this direction on another tab, and kind of tap on them at the same time, and the equal and opposite will force it to rotate without cutting the tabs off. Corwin, can you give me a hand?
Oh, you can't get this by yourself?
I just need to do equal and opposite.
I know.
And I am recording right now.
Are you tightening it or loosening
tightening it?
Okay.
And just real gentle. And I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you, Cortland. You're welcome. Now for these clips, I'm not sure these are the right clips. These look like something out of a GM or a Chevy. Let me go get the right clips. Okay, here's our new Dorman clips. It's 800021 Volkswagen fuel filter line clips. Hopefully it fits the fuel pump also. Now if you look inside these holes, one of the ends is tapered and the other end is not. The tapered end goes down on the fuel pump. Now there are a white and a black. But they look identical. There might be a minor size difference. All we can do is try it and see. See, to release that, you push down on it. Works nice. And of course, as you can see, these are not the right clips. It looks good. I guess we'll run the basic settings test and see if we have any leakage around here and see if it passes the test on the scan tool. Okay, I'm going to start the basic settings test on the scan tool. Smelling for fuel right now. Do you guys smell anything? And looks like the test has run. It says system okay. We'll run it again just to be sure. 71. Now see, it started out with the switch being closed and then it went to open. And it passed again. Looks like that's a fix. We have finished up the road test on this 2001 Jetta that had EVAP small leak code and a EVAP large leak code. The basic settings test in Group 71 makes it real easy to figure out these type of problems, unless the problem is in the charcoal canister or the tank, which they always are. Got lucky on this one though, but charcoal canister and the tank kind of have to come down together, and unfortunately they are underneath the swing arm in the back of the car. So lots of times when you do these diagnoses, you have to remove the rear swing arm to remove the tank in order to get a good look at the charcoal canister or the tank. So we got lucky on this one. Definitely fixed. If you learned anything in this video, click the like button, and if you'd like to financially contribute to the continued production of these videos, find the donate icon on my website at www.kansascitytdi.com. And if you'd like to watch some of the other videos on the channel, try that one right there, or maybe this one. And don't forget to click the subscribe button.